Alright, so that was the second turn. I've shuffled the building event into the event deck. I've placed the icon on my leg to show that I have hurt myself during building this shelter, and now it's time for turn 3 here. So we move on to the third turn. We have to draw, first of all, we have to draw this new event. I like to resolve the threats here before I draw the event. So first of all, we would resolve this threat here, and it says nothing happens when you resolve this threat. So these food crates are now discarded, and this would have given us some extra food, either just one extra food, or one normal perishable food and one unperishable food, if we had used 2 pawns to complete this action. I find it kind of strange that they have this expedition for food as the starting card. It does make the game harder, but if you want to make the game a little bit easier and you want to kind of learn the game in the beginning, you could pick one of these other ones, which is the captain's chest or the wrecked lifeboat, and you get wood for these, and these would actually help you a lot more for this scenario in question. So you could take one of these if you want to, but the setup says that you should pick the expedition for food. I'm pretty sure that the different scenarios specify if you need to take one of the other 2 cards. But yeah, if you want to make the game a little bit easier, if you want to have a greater chance at success, you could just remove the food and take one of the wood cards. I think that's fine. That's okay if you're learning the game. Otherwise you're gonna end up like me, losing like 8 times before you succeed this scenario. So this broken tree threat is now moved 1 space to the left, and we have to remember, if we let this threat go unresolved, we would lose 1 morale level. But this is actually kind of a good threat to resolve. You only need 1 pawn and the rope, and we have successfully built the rope, so we already have the rope. This was the reason why I picked the rope, as well as for the snare and then for the mast here. So the rope was, I didn't actually discuss it, but I thought that the rope was the best option of all of these building, all of these different building inventions. I forgot the name. So yeah, if we place a pawn here, since we have the rope, we would get 1 determination token and an extra wood, which is great. I think that's pretty good. So yeah, we now have to resolve the next threat. So let's see. Depression, that sounds great. Discard 2 invention cards. Each player discards a determination token. So okay, we discard 1 of these tokens. And to discard the invention cards, you just pick 2 of these and then you discard them. Let's see. I don't actually know. Okay, so I don't know if you can discard these regular standard ones with these arrows. I assume that you can, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna discard the moat and the wall here. These only build palisade levels, and even though they are helpful, I think I really need these other items. I think the sling is okay if we really need some weapons. The basket is basically necessary for this scenario. The belts are as well, giving you an extra resource gathering pawn. So yeah, I will discard these, and I will do that later when I stop the video. I will just place them down here at the side, so to remind me. So okay, and this had a book icon on it instead of one of these adventure tokens. So the book icon does nothing. It has no effect on this scenario in question, so nothing else happens. The flavor text is, you feel very pessimistic about your future. And indeed I do. Playing this game, I feel quite depressed and pessimistic, but that's good, that's okay. Consolation is the next here, if we would resolve this threat. So we have to use a pawn and discard a food and get some determination tokens. Otherwise, if we fail to do this, the morale will drop and we will discard 2 additional cards here. And that's pretty bad. I do guess that we have this Dam and the Cure, which we could discard. They are not that important. I mean, the Cure is okay because we have 2 events up here that are reliant on the Cure. So the Cure might be a good idea to actually resolve, which would lead us to not taking a bunch of extra hits down here for when we draw those events. And we will be drawing at least, yeah, I will probably be drawing at least one of them, if not all of them. You resolve almost every card in here, so that you can't actually hide from those event cards. They will come up sooner or later. Okay, so that was the event phase here, and we now move on to the morale phase, and we get to move 1 step again. And now the question is, do we take determination tokens, or do we heal 1 wound? I don't actually know. Friday is pretty badly hurt here. Well, not that badly, but he is in danger of dying. I don't like that. So yeah, it could be an idea. On the other hand, I think building the basket and the cure, well, actually building the basket is much more important. Also building the hatchet is a lot of more important than building the cure per se. Together with doing this, well, let me think about this for a second. Alright, so yeah, plan is to build the basket, the hatchet, and to resolve this, let's see, this event here. So yeah, I will actually be taking the determination tokens for now. I think it's better to have some extra of these instead of healing anyone, because as I see it, Friday will not be taking any chances this day in particular. So yeah, that was the morale phase, and now we get to the third phase here, which is the production phase. And now we get to produce these goods that are on our camp tile, which is 1 food and 1 wood. These are immediately available to us. So place them up here, so we now have 2 wood pieces here. So that was the production phase. Now we get to the start of the action phase, and I will actually take one of these pieces of wood, since I will not be using... Actually, I can take both of them, can't I? Yeah, I will take both of them and place them here, because I can lower the cost for wood here by 1, so I don't need any wood to actually make this hatchet. I have economical construction, this skill here, and I should have cleared this token. I have not used this turn, or this cube, not token. So okay, now we get to the action phase, and we get to take our actions, and Friday will he will resolve this event here, or resolve this threat. We only need 1 pawn and one pawn and the rope, and we have the rope. And then for my actions, even though I would like to explore, actually, yeah, that was pretty stupid. Why? I don't need to build a basket right now, so I will actually explore, try to find this, try to find some mount or some hills for this pot, because I think it is pretty. It's good to have this as backup. We can go hunting and we can heal ourselves. So yeah, I will be doing this. I will. Well, now I get uncertain. Basically, what I want to do is build a pot. I want to have a knife and some weapon levels, and on top of that, I do want to have the cure and the basket. And now you kind of see why this this game is kind of complicated. It's not because the rules are complex, it's because the actions are so sparse and you really need to think this through. And I do tend to get a bit... I do tend to do stuff a little bit too fast sometimes. We do have some beasts down here, so it could be an idea to try and get our weapon level up. We can, for instance, build a knife, and then we can use our empty bottles to raise our weapon level by 2 if we use both of them. And these actually raise the weapon level by this amount. It says +1 weapon level. You have another starting item, which is the pistol. It temporarily raises the weapon level by 3, and it says on the card temporarily. So I think that these do actually raise the weapon level by 1. So we could do that. We could bring our weapon level to 3, and then maybe construct a sling as well during one of the following turns. That would bring our weapon level to 5, and we will pretty much be safe from any of the wild animals except the tiger and some of these more dangerous ones. So yeah, that's a question, good question. What to do? Alright, well, I finally decided what to do. I do want to get the pot, so I think getting hills here is pretty important, so I will be doing that. I will take one of my actions to explore with the dog, successfully explore up here. The knife and the sling, the other weapon here, they are kind of important if we want to hunt beasts. But if we do hunt beasts, we would be discarding all of our food items because we do not have the pot. So we need to get the pot first before we can think of hunting. Just hunting for the sake of fur, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you have to get both the benefits of extra food and some fur. So yeah, I think making this pot is pretty important, because if we have bad rolls with the weather dice, basically we could die if we don't have the pot to heal us. So I will be doing that for one of my actions. For the second action, I will go down here to build the hatchet, and we actually do need one piece of wood to make this hatchet, but I will pay my economical construction, which is 2 determination tokens, to lower the cost of building by 1 wood, so we don't need any extra wood here. And then I will use my last pawn here on the hammer and nails to bring out another one of these helper builder pawns to place on the hatchet, because I really want to complete this action. I think it's pretty important to have that. Alternatively, I could take a gamble and roll the dice and use my skill, which allows me to re-roll any brown die, but that would actually mean that I would have to probably have to have an adventure and maybe take an extra wound, and I think it's a bit risky doing that. So instead I will use my last hammer and nails piece here, and I will turn this upside down, just to remind me that this is now spent and I don't have any extra actions. So okay, we can start off with Friday here. He's resolving this threat. He has the rope, and he has successfully removed the tree, the broken tree that fell on us and hurt us. So yeah, we discard. Now it says discard this card and get a determination token and 1 piece of wood. So let's do that. We get 1 determination token here, and we get 1 wood in the future resources up here, which we will be getting at the end of the turn. Then we can resolve this hatchet here. This is my pawn and a builder pawn, so we are successful in resolving this hatchet. So what this allows us to do is it allows us to place this +1 wood token on our tile with our camp. So that would be here, and that would mean that during the next production phase we would get 2 wood and 1 food instead of just 1 of each. I don't know if this can be built several times. You cannot turn this on the other side, which you do with these inventions, so I assume that you can only do that once. I actually assume that you can only do this once. What you are allowed to do when you move your camp, you are actually allowed to take one of these +1 tokens with you. So I could take this +1 wood token with me if I want to move my camp somewhere else. But okay, so that was my second action. We can now take this black cube away from here just to kind of show that we have built that. And now we take the last action for the turn, which is the exploration action with me and the dog. And we are able to successfully explore. There are no tokens here, or no tokens specifically here on the exploration deck, so we don't have to resolve any adventures. Let's see, this is another plains. Oh, it's not a bad tile, but I really want to have these hills to be able to build this pot. So yeah, we do get 3 discovery tokens. We'll place them in the future resources up here. So okay, that was our turn. We were able to complete an additional level of the pile here, so we are now 2 columns into the pile. And this is actually going rather well, I think. So yeah, the action phase is over. We get these available resources, and let's see what we find. And here it says if we have a weapon level of at least 1, we get fur and food. So we can keep this. We don't have a weapon level of 1. I don't know if this has to be resolved immediately. Actually, I think it does. I think since this gives food, I think this has to be resolved immediately. We have weapon level of 0, but what we can do is we can use one of these empty bottles. I will actually use both of them, and we will raise our weapon level by 2, 1 for each of these cubes that were placed on it. So I will do that. So I will raise my weapon level by 2 immediately, and that means that we will now be getting that's kind of unfortunate, but it's only 1 food, so that's not that bad. So we will be getting a fur and a food item here. So the food, so this is at the end of the action phase, we actually get these resources. So the food, and then the fur is symbolized by these white cubes here. So now we have 1 fur, which is great. Fur is used instead of wood for a lot of things, and it's actually cheaper to use fur. On the other hand, we cannot use our special skill, which allows us to lower the amount of wood that we will be needing to produce a specific invention here. So okay, that was the first discovery token. Then we have 2 of these extra, or 2 of these special tokens. We have to take a look here. This is the pirate saber. It says here it increases weapon level by 1, so that's good. We now have 3, and we are now pretty close to be able to hunt here. I think 4 is actually the minimum you should be considering hunting. Most of the animals that you hunt have, well, they have around 4 or 5. So 4 is okay, but I wouldn't recommend going with 3. If you face the tiger, you will be taking 3 wounds and he will almost break all of your weapons. So yeah, that was that. So now we have this one, and that is herbs. Plus we get to heal once, and you get to decide here if you want to heal or you want to heal Friday, and I will heal Friday. I have been quite fortunate here, only taken 2 wounds so far, so that's good. And this is turn 3, so only 2 wounds in 3 turns is pretty much amazing actually. So okay, this was the plains, so we don't have to place any extra cubes here, but there is a beast icon on it, so we do have to add an additional beast here to the beast deck. Alright, so that was the action phase. and now we get to the weather phase, and still we are at turn 3. No weather here, and I've forgotten to discard these two, so I'll be doing that. I'll just discard them up here. So no weather phase, we skip it, and then we get to the night phase. We still have our shelter, we don't take any additional wound. We have to consume food, so we will eat. This food will perish, we don't have anything to use it on, we don't have the pot yet, so this food will perish. And we will not be moving our camp. I think we will be staying here. Okay, this is a little bit risky actually. I have no roof levels, and the next turn we will be having weather effects by rolling this yellow or this orange die up here. And we should at least build one roof level during the next turn, otherwise we run into trouble. We have to consume a lot of food and wood to keep warm and healthy. Alright, so having done these first three turns, we now come to turn 4 here, and these are kind of the introductory turns for the game. This is where you kind of have some breathing room to make and prepare for the upcoming autumn and winter months, which will be much tougher to survive through. So this is the place or the time in the game where you get to prepare yourself basically. I think that I have gone through most of the different phases and the effects of the phases in some detail during these 3 turns. I will move Friday and spawn here. So I will try and speed this up and not talk as much about the different phases and different actions. I will try and pause much more and then just decide what to do and go through the turn without taking a whole lot of extra time speaking about all of the decisions. So let's move on here. We are at turn 4. We go to the event phase of the turn. We have successfully dealt with this threat that was imminent, that was threatening us. So we now move this other threat to the leftmost space, and this will make us discard 2 extra invention cards here. I don't know if that's so bad actually. It could be okay to let that one slip through, but we will see later when I make my decision. So we now get to the production phase. This is the interesting part. We get an extra wood for this production phase in question. So now we will be placing 2 wood pieces up here and 1 food piece or some food for the turn. Okay, we now have the morale phase. Morale is at maximum. We cannot raise it anymore. We have 4 determination tokens here, so it might be an idea to actually heal this with this action, and I think I will be doing that. I think I will be healing Friday. He's kind of fragile, we still don't have the pot, and now Friday is ready to take some risks out on the board, so I will be doing that. Alternatively, I could try and get those determination tokens, but I think this is a better way to spend that action. Well, that was a little bit rushed. We do have to resolve a new event here before we get to the morale phase, but that's okay. Let's resolve the event now. And it says Cloudburst. Okay, this is kind of bad. It's not that terrible right now, but this is one of those cards that is actually quite bad later on. First, we have to put this gray token on the gathering resources deck. So it's this token here, so we place it up here, and then it says move your camp to an adjacent tile of your choice. So let's see here. I think moving it up here or here would probably be preferable. So let's see. If we move it here, we have access to, well, it doesn't really matter. actually. So yeah, I will just move it back to the starting tile. And I will take this with me. Remember, you can take one of these with you. So I will take this with me. And now we would have to lower our roof and palisade levels down by half rounded down. So that means here half of 1 is a half, rounded down is 0, so we don't do anything, and roof is already at 0, so we don't have to do anything there either. So that's good. Not that bad of a card. And let's see, since we did resolve that last event, we don't have to resolve any events or any threats down here for this turn. For the next time this event would resolve, it says nothing happens, but if you place a pawn on it, you can discard this card and get 1 extra roof and get +1 roof and +1 palisade, but only if you lost by moving the camp, which we did not do. So this event is actually pretty good right now. Nothing happens. Pretty much nothing happened by moving, and nothing will happen if we let this resolve. Unless, well, no, nothing will happen. So yeah, this is an okay event, I guess. The consultation event here is discarding the inventions. And I'm kind of thinking of letting that one through as well. I could discard 2 useless inventions. Well, they are not useless, but they... I do have to do some other actions instead of trying to resolve this mild threat here. Okay, so since I hastily went to the morale phase before I resolved this event, we have already completed our morale phase, and I will not change anything. I will gain that extra healing for Friday. And for my action for this turn, I think this game is shaping up to be a pretty well a game that actually is winnable. I didn't think that this would be this easy, seeing as how I have struggled quite a lot. Well, actually, again, I'm a bit hasty here. Well, no, I'm not. I have produced, so I skipped both the when I skipped the event here, I jumped both to the morale and the production here. But okay, let's go to the action phase here. I will not be placing any wood on the pile because I have a plan for I have a plan for this round. My plan is to go down here, build the mast. For the mast we need to have the rope. We need 1 fir and 1 wood. So we will take 1 fir and 1 wood from up here, bring it down here. So we have that now, and I will use my handyman skill here, paying 3 determination tokens. I have 4, so paying 3 of them, gaining an extra building pawn, placing it here, and now we are certain I cannot pronounce that word, certain that the mast will be built. Okay, so that was the first action. For the second action, me and Friday, well, actually, since Friday is fully healed, maybe we can gamble here. Basically, the success die on the building action only has one side on it that is a failure. So I think we can gamble a bit here. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think we can gamble a bit. Friday can go off and try and build this, build us a... Well, that is quite risky, but okay, let's do it. Friday, let's gamble a bit, because I think that I'm very well off right now. So actually, let's take some risks to make this a little bit more difficult. Friday will gamble and try to build us a roof level. He needs 2 wood pieces to do that, so he will take those last 2 wood pieces from there. And then me and the dog will go off and... Well, actually, yeah. then it's that's even more risky here. Alright, well, let's not do that. That's a little bit, yeah, that's a little bit too risky, I guess. Screw it, let's gamble here. Me and the dog will go off and try and explore this space here, but because our camp is all the way over here, this is not a successful exploration. This is just the same as if we would place one pawn on these adjacent spaces. So we do have to roll the exploration dice here as well. Okay, so those are my actions for the turn. Let's see. Should I maybe build the knife instead? No, let's explore. Okay, so this action here is successfully resolved. We have 2 pawns, so we don't have to roll anything. And we have successfully built the mast, which gives us 3 pieces of wood for the wood pile, and I will immediately place these on the wood pile. I think that's how it works. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that should be how it works. Let's see, a little bit fiddly here. And now we have successfully completed 3 levels or 3 columns of this wood pile. We only have 2 left and we are only at turn 4, so that's good. Okay, we get to the interesting part here, which could make this a living hell for us if we fail. So Friday will try to build a roof level up here. So he takes the building dice here. So let's see. And yeah, it's a success, and poor Friday takes 2 wounds to build us this roof level. He hit himself with a hammer or something, I don't know. Something went wrong anyway. So we now have 1 roof level up here. And then me and the dog try to explore here, so we now have to use the exploration dice. And again, we have a success, but first of all we take 1 wound, and then we have to resolve this event here. Lost in the woods. You went so far that you got lost and you're frightened. Discard 2 determination tokens. We only have 1, so we discard this one. You have to do this if you can. You can't choose not to do it, so you have to discard if you can. So we discard 1 of them. Well, for the second one we cannot do that. So what happens is we take one wound. This is the rule of what's it called? I think it's called the rule of unfulfilled requests. So whenever you are asked to discard or use something and you cannot do that, you take 1 wound for each item you are asked to do, but you cannot fulfill. Okay, this does not go into the event deck, so this is just discarded. I will do that at the end of the turn. And we are successful, as you can see here. We did take 2 wounds doing this, but me and the dog managed to, even though we got lost, we managed to explore. So let's see what this tile will bring us, and that is a hill tile. That's kind of fortunate actually. We did need this hill tile to appear pretty soon here. So first of all we will place an additional beast on the beast stack here, and then we have 2 of these discovery tokens that we get for future resources. Okay, so that was quite a turn. I actually think that was pretty successful, to be perfectly honest. So yeah, we now are at the end of the action phase, so now we now get these extra these discovery tokens, and this is yet another building. Let's see, did I do that wrong? Are there 2 building? Let's see. Yeah, this one is brown as well. Alright, I thought that maybe there aren't two of these building. But yeah, we now have this again, and I will place it next to my character because this time the item is depleted, so there's no sense in putting it over here. So this other one is, if you have the pot, which is another reason to build this pot. There are quite a few of these, I think 4 or 5 of these effects. If you have a pot, something happens. So this is, if you have a pot, you can discard this and you heal 2 wounds. So this is quite a good effect to have. And that is why I want to build this pot. So now, since we discovered this terrain, this hill terrain, we can now build both the pot and the bricks. And that brings us, yeah, we can now build every item here. So that's great. That was the action phase, and now we get to the weather phase, and this is the interesting part. There is nothing here in the weather box, so we don't have to add any tokens or anything, any weather effects. And we now have to roll this orange die to determine what type of weather we are having today. And that's pretty bad actually. 2 clouds, 2 rain clouds. Okay, that's actually quite bad. What happens now is, first of all, you would resolve any winter clouds. After that, you add all the clouds together, because later on you would use this winter die as well. So you add all the clouds together, and then you have to resolve all of the clouds. So we didn't have any winter clouds. For every winter cloud you have to burn a wood, and we have no wood resources here. Luckily we did not draw any, or we did not roll any winter clouds. So instead we have these 2 rain clouds, and to successfully resolve a rain cloud you have to burn a wood. Well, you have to check your roof level, and if you have equal to or more than the number of clouds on your roll, you are safe, nothing happens. But if you have less than the number of clouds you have on your roll, you have to consume food and burn wood for each of those clouds. So now we are safe from 1 cloud, but for the other cloud we have to burn a wood and consume food. And this happens before you eat for the night. So first of all we eat this food, but then we have to burn the wood. We don't have any wood, so we now take a hit to our health. And we have now crossed this morale marker here, so now the morale goes down 1 step, which is kind of bad. And then we get to the step where you have to eat for the night, and this is now really bad, because if you cannot eat for the night you take 2 wounds. So we now take 2 additional wounds, and now you see why this game is pretty difficult once you get to the weather phase. Imagine this is just with 1 die, and I might have been a bit reckless with not building any roof levels here. We are only at 1 roof level. But imagine with another die and some beasts attacking you like this die here. You could theoretically take like 4 or 5 hits from just 1 weather die, which is pretty bad. This could kill you instantly if you're not careful. This is not safe. This is only 5 hits, and then the 6th hit would kill us. This is not safe at all. That's why I try to build this pot, because then we can go hunting, and then we can hopefully survive the night and heal from this pot. So yeah, that was the weather phase and the night phase, which is pretty bad. At the end of the night phase I can decide to move, and I will do that. I will actually move my camp back here, taking this icon with me. Because now I have access to more wood spaces here, and since our roof and palisade levels are at 1, we do not lose any roof or palisade levels, so that's a free move, so to speak. Okay, so that was the turn 4, and we now get to turn 5.